Well, good day, good morning, good midday, or probably no one is at midday yet, or maybe you're at midday from yesterday. But here we are on the 12th of July, experiencing this, all I want to say is this exquisite crystalline light. It's so full of this higher frequency, this finer vibration, and it's made me laugh this morning because I noticed that the birds, and not just this morning, but that the birds are behaving as though it's spring. There's the animals in general, they've got that kind of frolicking energy. Um, so it feels very uplifting, this energy. So, yeah, I've got writing from the last couple of days. I wanted to reflect on, well, I'll tell you why I haven't been here is because you know how I spoke about the fact that we were going to have all of this change of relationships, this change of jobs, this change of locations, this changes in a whole lot of ways. Well, I didn't necessarily think that I was going to have one, and I have. So I have been given long notice, but I've been given notice from where I'm living, and so I went into a bit of overwhelm, and I just allowed myself to cry because that's where I went to. It it um, it just felt like a lot to take in, and so I did that. I just let myself cry for a day, and then I recognized it was because I had gone to overwhelm. I had forgotten all my own guidance about calming, back to center, back to present moment. But I had a process that I used, and I wrote some notes about it, so I'll get to it. But oh my God, honestly, I actually asked one of the rental agents yesterday, are you busier than normal? Are more people moving or selling than normal? And she said, no, it's about the same. So I don't know if that's true everywhere, but that was her perception of it. And I just thought I had an opportunity to ask someone for some tangible evidence around that. But it's really, it's big. It's big. I don't think really that we can appreciate it all or get it all. And I feel that there is so much, I want to use the word enrichment for us in our continuously coming back to present moment, because it's so big. It's so big. It's big in terms of the energies that are coming in. They are really fast and very expansive. And so this is digging deep into our cells, this cleanup everywhere. And it's big in terms of what's going on around us. And for many of you, you'll be holding space for lots of others, either in your community or because of the being that you are, or because of your lineage or the place that you come from. And people are looking. They'll be looking to you for guidance as they come into this. But the beautiful general aspect of this is that everyone's coming into greater balance, and everyone is coming into more of their heart space. So there's a softness, there's a tenderness, there's a feeling, that is healthy and helpful. Anyway, yes. So, I want to. Yesterday, somebody who is in hospital had messaged me and wanted to speak to me, and she had got this lovely channeling that she gave me, and her name is Tania Long, but it's very, very genius. So I will do a post about it, but I thought I'll just tell you here. So the sun will reveal its true nature, and the mother her electric song. Solar and sonar unification, the greatest universal marriage ever. And so that's the message that she was given, along with, and I'm going to look this up because I don't know what it means, but along with 22 degrees, 22 degrees, 22 degrees. So that will be an astrological alignment. And if you are an astrologist on here and you know what that means, then do let me know. But her name is Tanya Long, and I thought that was a beautiful channeling, and she is being held through what she is experiencing at the moment in hospital. So yeah, it's big. It's big. So let's talk about the message. Oh, that recipe for this time that came through on the 10th, which you will have seen, but I'll remind you because it's so supportive if you can remember this. To be with what is now, deeply connected and grounded to earth, and then sit in your heart space and fill this with love and expand this out into your body until it causes a smile on your face. So I invite you to do that right now, to close your eyes, to take a deep breath in, to drop your focus into connecting into your beautiful heart, to fill that up with love, to take several other breaths, soft, gentle, filling the body, allowing that love now to spread through your body from your heart space until it causes a smile on your face. Yeah, I think I am reverse aging as well, and I think that is happening for all of us in a whole lot of ways. So thank you for that observation and reflection. Yeah, so how about you? Are you feeling? I'm feeling vulnerable. But I'm okay with it. I feel safe with it. I feel like it's taking me to a new place, to a higher place, to a softer place, to a more open and expanded place. Hi, Nats. Hi, Sephora and Fiona and Stacey Ace. And hi, Charlotte. And hi, Carolyn. And hi, Lego Flip. Will you sleep well? Yeah, so this is what came through yesterday from Gaia actually, about the divine masculines. She said, "Your beloveds cometh." Divine masculines are gathering, as in the energy is pulling them. As a sound on the airwaves, a notice, a pause, tools are put down, shirts are straightened, hands are wiped, strides are taken. A giant movement from across the lands to the meeting point. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, and some other information about that is this aspect that the masculines in our world, and the divine masculines in particular, they are really having this movement back and forth, this vacillation back and forth between their mind ruling the roost and their hearts, but more and more their heart is having a greater influence, and this is their movement. So that heart mind 3D 5D aspect of making decisions, and a lot of them are still even though they're moving back and forth, they're still making their decision from their head because that's their patterning, but it's close to rolling over. So I'm showing that they are beginning to recognize the decisions that they have made that don't acknowledge their higher self, that don't recognize what their truth is. And so it's this, they're recognizing that they haven't honored themselves. They haven't honored their true self, their higher self, their aligned self, and beginning to feel uncomfortable with that. And what I'm showing is that there will be intense pressure put upon them, and anybody who is not yet in awakening is going to be receiving that as well. So it's like they are in recognition that they have abandoned themselves, that they've betrayed themselves. And so this is starting to weigh heavily on them. So I'm showing that they still will be catapulted out of that. So it might be that they're in this sort of, I don't know what to call it really, mucking around, this vacillation at the moment. But I'm showing that, you know, they will be catapulted out of this by divine, I want to say by divine countenance, actually. And they will begin to feel this desire from above to be existing and having a life that is beyond the mundane, just as we have. You know, many of us have been through that, of course, and so that's their process. So this is going to strengthen until alignment comes. Oh, it's that idea. You know, that left, right, that up, down, that is that true for me? Answering with the, well, this is easier, this is more comfortable. And that's what happens when we're going through awakening. We are shocked. Our body can go into shock. I think my body's been in a bit of shock this week with this higher energy on top of me being thrown a few curveballs. But yeah, I am acknowledging that I've got through this and I've come back into myself. Yeah, so what else is written here is that this will strengthen until alignment occurs, and the divine masculine is feeling increasingly under the pump and pressurized, and this will lead to their old ways collapsing and a recognition that the average, easy and mundane doesn't actually cut it anymore. So this is the place that we are, if you like, sitting in and observing from as the divine feminine. And if you are in here as the divine masculine, it would be beautiful to hear what is occurring for you. All right. Interesting, Stacey. Yeah, she's just speaking about her DM and feeling that his heart is softening, and yeah, I'm recognizing that in the men in my world who aren't necessarily divine masculine as well. Okay, so yeah, it's like this. No, I'll say this part now and then I'll go backwards. It's been showing up. If you think of something that's quite robotic and mechanical, like you think about an old oven dial, how it clicked. It's like that. That's how it's showing up, like this incremental click. You know, you can hear it. It's got this mechanical kind of energy to it, and that's them. That's their this incremental adjustment in their programming, in their conditioning, in their behavior, in their thoughts. And this is where what I was showing this morning is that we are in this, or they are in this greater influence of the heart having more weight, the heart having more to say, the heart having a greater impact and influence than the mind. So that's that part. And then in the world in general, so this is for humanity and for the planet, Gaia, this is from Gaia, the rumbling and the shaking, the shifting and the volcanic, all designed to propel out of complacency, humanity awakening, to take note, to feel the calling, to escape the miasma, to look upwards, to engage inwards, to dream big and see enlivening in your world. So if you think about that in terms of a physical shake-up, that is what the planet is going through. The planet has largely lost its density in terms of holding us in the lower. It certainly has lost it from the internal of the planet, and the dark satanic evil has been extricated from the surface. And so now we're just working through the patterns and conditions that have been held here. Yeah, and then here I wrote, remember to stay in the heart. Remember to speak from the heart. And remember that love is all there is. So yes, today, I wrote, I've been in overwhelm for a couple of days of this week. I let myself cry and spend a bit of time in my masculine energy. And so that was one way of me, I guess, examining things from a masculine logical perspective. So I went to, so this was about being really confronted with needing to move, and the fact that I am, heading off to the Bahamas to do that trip in the middle. And so I thought, right, what I need to do is scope out what's around and find out, are there places that will meet my needs? And I tell you, I was horrified at some of the places that I was shown where, and I said to a friend of mine, I would happily house my cows there. And she said, do you have cows? I said, no, I don't. But that was the level of a couple of the places that I went and looked at. Like, no, they were filthy and just no care given to them. And it's really sad. Anyway, so, that was all part of my experience. And I decided, well, I'm just going to have a look. So I'll just go and see what's around. And so now I have, been reminded of some of what it is that I need to put into my creation list, and I'm going to map that out and form some sort of general affirmations around it. But I recognize that that's what I did. I dealt with it by going to my masculine. So I cried. So I went into my vulnerable child, I suppose. Then I moved into my masculine and wrote some lists and checked some data and went and investigated, took some action. And now I'm coming back to softening into my feminine and into this creative flow. And then I will put that out there. Yeah, so, that's the beauty of when we're in balance, isn't it? Is that we can use those aspects for what is fitting. So a lot of emotions continue to flow for people, especially emotions coming up related to grief, but not necessarily associating the grief to any event. And it's because, I believe, we're in this ongoing situation of going higher, and that enables us to go deeper and older. But we're in the ends of it. We really are. And it's good to not get caught up with the timing of it. But, we're in the throes of the end part of the deeper purification and release. And as we go higher, we might go older and deeper. So this is for us. You may or may not recognize what it is. This trauma, this grief, this deep pain, I guess. And you may not know who or what they connect to, this grief, this pain, this trauma, this exiting and the tears. But it could be ancestral, it could be familial, it could be your own ancient, or it could be the clearing that you're doing for something else, like a country or a culture or a region, because that's what I feel that many of us are on now. So we've done our own personal clearing, and now we are doing some of the bigger, perhaps, tasks that we have contracted to do. But I want to say to you, just be in dialogue with the body, ask the body what it wants to say to you, what it wants to tell you, what it wants you to know, and then ask the body what it needs. And in doing so, you can attend to that. But everything, like everything is clearing back to the 0 point. So that's us and the planet. We're coming back to that time, I want to say, of pristine energies, and we're moving through from, how that interesting stuff came through from Saint Germain about the codes of the alchemical marriage coming in on the 7th of this month, and then what has come through for me, which I haven't written any more about yet, but is that the 888 is all about the new creation codes opening up and coming in more strongly. But we are in the movement to working with those now. And remember that everyone is at different levels and different stages, and try not to get caught in an end date for this releasing and purification. Just be congratulating yourself that you're doing well with being in process. So as we go higher, it enables us, as I said before, to access the deeper, and often this will be older also. So keep clearing. Someone I know who was going through some stuff that really seriously last week, and when I tuned into the the deeper underlying rationale for it, I got a really ancient life for them as a shaman in the Amazon, and some persecution around that. And so when she read what I had written, she messaged me the next day, and she said that had really catalyzed a lot of release from her. So this is the kind of thing that we are experiencing. So just keep clearing and be gentle with yourselves. There's a lot coming up. And a lot coming up in terms of change and front and center. And it might not feel very good, but to me it's exciting, because this is what's happening for everybody. So there are people I know, and I tell you that I've sat with the idea that they may not awaken in my lifetime, and yet I am feeling them change. I am witnessing their dialogue. It's so heartwarming and touching. It's just beautiful. So yeah, a lot of people in the world becoming more aware of what has gone on in the last few years, which really, in the bigger picture of things, from my perspective, has been to catapult awakening in humanity. So having to see the truth, having to see clearly. So the general population of the planet is now being shown the truth through the media, through the news, in dribs and drabs and bits and pieces. And so this will create wobble. This will create like a general shaking beneath the foundations of their feet. That's how a lot of people are going to feel. So we can hold space for that, because we've done that. We've been there, and we know that we get through it. They won't know that yet, but this is where they're at, and this is why the analogy of the volcanic shaking. Imagine standing on the ground while the earth is having an earthquake, and people are being forced to do things differently. So yeah, a lot of Ascension symptoms still, the flu symptoms, the sore bones, the runny nose, the runny eyes, the headaches, A lot of sore throats. Sore throats is a very common ailment at the moment. And for me, it's because a lot of what has to come out comes out through the throat and the nose. It's a great exit point, isn't it? So we can cough it up. So you might be feeling quite phlegmy. You might have a runny nose, but nothing going on that's more of a cold or flu than that. But there's this, and that's the unspoken. Those are all the things that are unspoken. And maybe you just have to speak them out loud to yourself. I often believe that that's a useful remedy, and it certainly is. It might not be enough, but it is always useful because you are speaking it, you are hearing it, and then you can be feeling it in your body as you speak it out loud. So, you're accessing a few of your sensory components. Yeah, so for me, yesterday and today, this morning, it's kind of moved now, but for me, I have been really feeling it in my hip bones. I awoke feeling like I'd been sleeping on a hard floor, not on a mattress. And it's interesting because I spoke to a man this morning I spoke to his partner actually, and she told me that he was going through that as well. So this to me relates to the birthing. And so that's whether we are female or male, but the hips are one of the aspects of the hips is the birthing. We're birthing new ideas. We're birthing, we might even be birthing out the old, but certainly birthing in the new creation, the new ideas, the new constructs. And so, yeah, see what where you're at with that. Okay, so let me read what is here, and then I'll come back to my notes. So, a DM messaged yesterday to someone saying, and sent a picture of her and said, please don't respond. Just know you're in my heart and I miss you. And she's saying, not like him at all, so feel his heart must be softening. That moves me. That's just so lovely. So lovely. And they are, they really, really are. And this is just evidence of it, right? The deeper the basement wound clearing, the more glorious the gift to embody and express. It feels deep, all right. Yeah, thank you, Sephora. And Carolyn's saying, did a big release for freeze response yesterday. Oh, that's interesting. DMs are feeling frozen and not sure what to do. Yes, that makes sense. That will be fitting into that vacillating back and forth because it's unfamiliar. It's scary for them to suddenly be having these deep feelings within themselves. Big inner child soul retrieval coming today. Inner child has solutions to our inner dream. Yes, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, so I'm really feeling it in the like the beauty of this. And I don't know if you do, but I do these things that are like, how we have these, what are they called? Like a there's a name for it which I can't think of, but those sort of built-in responses, how we might sneeze, it sneaks up on us. Well, I have this thing called a heart breath, where when I am recognizing something that's beautiful and deep and higher frequency, it feels like my heart takes a breath. So it's like this through here. And so I've been in that, like, well, I've been sitting here with you, and earlier this morning I read something which I did that with. And so for me, I recognize that as this more beauty and more expansion. Yeah, so you may still be having feelings of, are we there yet? If you live in New Zealand, you'll know that crazy advertisement for some packets of chips with these Pacific Island guys dressed as boys sitting in the back of the car going, are we there yet? And there is that kind of energy around, and so that's why I'm saying just be with what is and know that it is perfect, even if you don't know what it is. So as we move through this time, keep coming back to present moment. Stay in your higher consciousness. It's the lower mind that brings in the doubt. So you just keep trusting, keep being in awareness, keep being in present moment, keep being in your heart. Be deeply connected to the earth and know that all is well, that all is unfolding perfectly, and that you are getting better at being comfortable with the unknown. So that can be an affirmation that you can give to yourself. I really am getting better at being comfortable with the unknown. A lot of peace may come as we move through this time. Passion, and there's, you might remember when, I don't, but I do know that we've spoken, maybe it came around the 4th or something, I'm not sure, of this month, but we've talked about that word enlivenment that Gaia gave, whenever that was. And we're really coming into the recognition of that in our environment, in nature, in with insects, with animals, with all of Mother Earth's nature is coming into that enlivenment, which is to do with higher consciousness and higher frequency, where we'll begin to see more glow, more life, more movement, more auric fields around all of nature. So as we move through this time to the 888 gateway, which is the 8th of August in this year, which is an 8 year, like that is a massive amount of energies. I remember I was in Koh Lanta, I think. I was in an island in Thailand, in the Lion's Gate of 2000 and James, Lisa, do you remember? Maybe 2013, and I didn't sleep for a week, and they didn't sleep much either, and it was just incredible. It was incredible light, it was incredible energies, and we were basically the only tourists, it seemed like it anyway, on this whole island. And it was an exquisite place to be in this energy, but I strongly remember being there in the Lion's Gate and not sleeping. The energies were so high, and this, is going to be a real doozy, I feel. And so just, be with what happens for you. Don't fight it. Just allow your body to do what it needs to do and be in dialogue and be in rest. Make sure that you sort of clear your schedule as much as you can during that time, around I want to say a few days before and a few days after, at least. So as we move through this time to the 888 gateway, we are becoming more whole. We're becoming more aligned. We're becoming more connected to the earth. And that's beautiful. And we're connected more to acknowledging and observing the beauty that is held by ourselves, by one another, and by the earth. Yeah, so I did write in here, I may have already said it, but I'll repeat it because it's so profound. As the divine masculine come into 0 point, the greater influence of their heart center, the boat will turn. They will align to their higher purpose, passion, and mission, and to their divine feminine. And divine union will, come into play. So today I was showing this movement of, and it's interesting because I write the date and then I close my eyes and I virtually start getting messages. And sometimes I try and remember to ask questions, but mostly I've written enough and then that's kind of it. So Sarah's written, definitely feeling the, are we there yet? The thrust feels like it's constantly clearing at the moment. Yes, agreed. Hello, Jasmine. Hello. Oh, sorry. M. Solomon. Is that Michelle? Melanie, let me know. And hello, Jasmine. Yeah, so I got shown this imagery as, when you go to a really busy place, like to a concert or to a market or to an auction or something like that, and you're outside, but you're in wall-to-wall people, and you have to get somewhere, and so you're sort of moving a little bit at a time, shuffling around and moving your shoulders and navigating through the crowd. That was the imagery I got shown this morning. So this movement of moving through a big crowd, and there is a lot of minor adjustments going on in the body to move in all directions, one small movement at a time. Yet this is also happening at rapid and accelerating pace. So this is what I am showing as the metaphor today, or the analogy, the visual metaphor or the analogy for today is that this is what we're doing energetically, is that we're doing this incremental, tiny little movements to get to the front, to get to the next position. And here, I wrote here, the animals and the birds, because I've noticed this week, are behaving and carrying the energy of spring. Yet here in New Zealand, we are in winter. We have had our shortest day, and it's really, really cold in the morning. So I jogged down to the gym this morning and did a workout there, and it was freezing, absolutely freezing. I tucked my fingers inside my jacket. So we are experiencing this energy that has this massive clarity, honestly. So for you, for me, for many of us here, we've been in this recognition of our own truth and truth around the world and in what's gone on, and at least some components of our history. And I want to tell you that this energy is going to create that for many people, And so this will be the time, I believe, when the fact that people are in their hearts will both assist them and be painful for them, because they're going to come into truth, especially for perhaps choices that they made throughout lockdown. And it's really, I want to say, there's a lot of value in our being able to hold compassion. So compassion for ourselves because we made a different decision or the same decision as them, but compassion for ourselves and compassion for everybody about the decisions that they made, because in the end it will all work out okay. But we're going through some of the realizations of that in terms of what's showing up for people in their lives as well, and in people who are leaving the planet. So I think that it's perhaps useful to go to that higher place of this was, divinely assigned, and people made their choices, even though on the lower dimensional level they were pushed. They felt pressurized to make particular decisions that maybe, I believe, they had made that soul decision, and that soul decision is a part of the process that they are going through now as we come into this awakening. Yeah, so Forgive me if I'm repeating. So I'm really in a bit of mindlessness at the moment. So for me, my brain doesn't work. For me, when I'm going through a dimensional shift, my mind often doesn't work. And I think this is more of our coming into higher mind as well. So things just flow through us and we don't necessarily remember what we've said. But we are experiencing this energy that has huge clarity, this recognition of truth and what is in or not in our alignment. And this is for expansion of consciousness. And also, we are watching, some of you will probably be seeing this. It's like this huge overlay of crystalline grid lines that are holding, it looks external to me, that it's like it's come in. So if you imagine fine lines of very refined crystal, so stranding of crystal, and a net that's made up of those. That's what I saw this morning. So it's like a net around, or a halo around the earth, and it's holding our frequency. It's holding us as a planet. What came out on the page was a new cosmic crystalline grid. It's full of crystalline refracted light, and it is assisting us to access and hold in our form this higher crystalline light. So it's assisting us in stabilizing and assimilating that, and balancing also our own feminine, our own masculine energies as they come into higher union. So that's what I have for you today, and I just invite you to honor yourself and to just keep coming back to the breath, to being grounded, to sitting in your heart, to observing the love that is within you, and then allow that to be reflected out. Let's see. Barney has come to listen to me while eating hemp seeds. Funny. Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Sarah, let me go back here. Definitely feeling that the throat feels like it's constantly clearing at the moment. Yes. And I'm noticing that in my clients as well. There's lots of throat clearing. Rachel, met DM this year, so strong and kind, self-esteem and PTSD after his ex was violent. Lots of fears and old programming coming up for both of us, expansion and healing, patience and softness. Beautiful. That's a really beautiful way to approach it, Rachel. Thank you for sharing that. Jasmine, deep in meditation last night, and when she dropped out of her body, she was determined to see her DM. However, her guides practically slingshot my body towards Atlantis. Very interesting, regardless. Oh my gosh. I'll talk to that before I go. I haven't written it up yet, but I did this regression past life meditation with Rebecca Gambles a couple of nights ago. And it's part of the work for going to Bimini, but other people were invited to take part. And it was really interesting because it reminded me, so I might not have spoken of this, but it's been shown to me that a lot of the twins, if not all, I don't know if it's absolute, but that a lot of the twins who are here now were on the earth in those partnerships in Atlantis, and that this is the time. So we've come back at this time to to do this again, but without screwing it up, basically. So we got into, we were very powerful creators in that time, and a lot of us became power mongering. So there became lots of kind of infighting, and I've seen some pretty awful things that happened there. But this is what we're doing. We're remedying that, I believe. So we're coming into having that level of power, but we're not going to muck it up this time. And this time we're going to be using it only for good, and only for the good of all. So everything is coming up about the Atlantean time. And what was on a personal note for me, so I already knew that I was there with my DM because I have seen it. But what I got shown, because there's all this, see, and here I am wearing my green jumper. What I got shown the other night was I turned around to look at him in the meditation, and he had eyes that were as green emeralds. They were just bright, and this bright green. But yeah, there's a lot that's coming up a bit for me in my work about about why I'm going there. And so I wrote 5 pages the other night in this guided meditation, little scruffy notes that I need to write up. But it all comes back to some encoding to do with Bimini, which is related to Atlantis, the Emerald Order, the return to wholeness, some things around that. Oh, it's good that you're in warmth. You deserve to be in warmth. Yes, throat. Throat for Michelle and a few others. Rachel, throat, neck, sinuses, ears, having issues coming and going. Yes. Is it a little bit painful and sort of popping in the ears? It's like equalizing when you're under pressure in an aircraft. It's that kind of thing has been happening. Charlotte saying that Atlantis journey was amazing, very deep connection to all. Yes, it was really powerful, wasn't it? Left ear has been draining for weeks. It tickles and itches constantly during my dream time. Now moving to throat and chest. Yeah, so we're all in the vicinity of doing similar things, and it's forging the way. It's slashing the path. That's what the divine feminine are doing. So we're cutting through we're creating the pathway for others to follow. So, when we do that, we're perhaps dealing with things more strongly than others, but we are big and powerful beings, and we're coming into the recognition of that. And so are the divine masculine. So if you think about what you have done, so just before we close, if you think about what you have done in your awakening, in your ascension preparation, and how long you have taken to do that. That's because we've been forging the way, we've been cutting the threads, we've been laying the path. And now this enables others to do it with greater ease because we've laid in the patterning. And the masculine, as I feel and what I am showing, so we've done that as the divine feminine and the divine masculine. They have been working in the physical world, and so they are bringing in they're like the demolishing team. And so they're in the examination of that. Well, does this in their own personal lives, but that also in the systems and the structures of the earth, of people, of cities, of buildings, of systems. So they're in the deprogramming of their lives and patterns and programs and conditions, that they are undoing those, and they're in the measurement of those now. So does this pillar stay or does this pillar go? And as they make those decisions, that impacts the world, the people in a physical way. That's how I read it anyway. And Spotify playlist, Michelle. Oh my goodness, let me check I've got that right. Yes, Michelle. Michelle is saying, I'll read that in a minute, that her DM communicates through a Spotify playlist, and he surprised me with People Get Ready. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so feel free to share what's coming in terms of these messages. What did I heard? Well, Spirit gave me the other day, Cry Me a River, so that was interesting. And then another song of her, but I'm a bit rubbish at remembering who writes or performs them. Are You Ready? That was something. Are You Ready for the Time of Your Life? I think that might be the song. And then the Justin Bieber song about loving yourself. So those were 3 theme songs that came through this week about where we're at, not necessarily in this divine feminine, divine masculine, but the collective. So there's a lot of this softening, a lot of this coming into loving self more and more feelings. Charlotte's saying, Barney just showed me his emerald and blue colours spanning wide. There's a great message in this. Yeah, so for me, the emerald and the blue, you could say, actually, I hadn't thought about it in this regard, but the blue it really links into the first ray, so the number 1. And the emerald, it really links into the 11th ray. So that's interesting, Charlotte, that you put those together. So that's the 111, so this is all like the Ascension gateway, the portals to the gateways, the enlightenment, the illumination gateways, to me, if I match those up. So something that I really wanted to do, and I don't know if I ever will get to it, but it's like I feel there's some, maybe somebody's already done it, but I feel there's some kind of compendium that could be written that connects numbers to astrology, to crystals, to particular qualities, some kind of matchup thing. Barney is a peacock, everyone. Right. The peacock, yeah, they are the dual colours, I used to teach a little bit about colour, and I used to teach a lot about colour because I taught fashion and design, and I taught wearable arts, and I taught fabric art. So we were always looking at different colours and different mediums for colour. So, fabric colours and dye colours and pigment colours, and whether they're warm or cool, and what, I would lay out all this fabric, and we'd have everybody in the class would have turns at standing up the front, and the class would be looking, does that make your eyes shine? Or we would be looking at those things and helping people determine what sort of colour swatches were made their skin glow, made their eyes shine. And yeah, it's just in this last week I've been in that, and the other aspect of it is organs. I wonder if there's, if each of those things connects to an organ, but probably somebody who knows way more than I do about all of that has perhaps already put that together. But yeah, I haven't done any research about it. So if any of you know anything about that. But yes, it really is this whole idea of, everybody's on notice now. Everybody has been put on notice. You need to decide, are you coming or going? Are you stepping up or not? And those who are not, well, they may leave or they may struggle, but they will have a little bit of time. They'll have a little bit of a gateway, and we will be, having this higher dimensional experience. So you think about that we're moving from the 7-7 gateway, which is the codes of the alchemical marriage That's what Saint Germain told me. Saint Germain is the Kohan of the seventh ray. Well, he's one of the Kohan of the seventh ray. He's the main masculine of the seventh ray. And then we're moving up to the 888 gateway in August, and that all links into the, I've been shown, into the creation codes. So between these codes coming in for the alchemical marriage, moving in through the month to the 888 gateway, which is about the creation, like creation. So alchemical marriage and union coming into creation of the new earth. That's what we're in. I mean, it's pretty powerful as an energy, as a set of energy. So let's get better at putting our focus on what we want and moving out any bad habits. And I mean that as in habits that hold us in the lower and in our thoughts and patterns, and be in this recognition that we are in this grand finale preparation for moving into this higher dimensional space. And you will notice, so the divine masculine are moving back and forth, but you'll notice as divine feminine that you're probably moving back and forth too, and that you're spending more time in the higher and less time in the lower. And this is, I want to say, what we're traversing at the moment. But it's not it's a massive exploration, expansion in a month, over a period of a month or 6 weeks, either side of it, I guess. So let's bathe in it, let's explore it, let's enjoy it, let's feel it, let's be in love with it, let's be in love with ourselves and with life and with the next moment in time. So I wish you a beautiful, magnificent day, and I'm grateful that you show up here, and I love that the dialogue occurs in the chat, because there's, whether you realize it or not, I am aware that there is a lot of wisdom here. There's a lot of wisdom in those of you who come. So yeah, big hugs to yourself, big hugs to one another. And Kona, used to live in Kona. Oh yeah, my personal trainer yesterday was speaking about Kona. I haven't been there yet. So yep, enjoy, be in love, and I will see you again soon. You take care. Thank you.